set?
Yep.
All right. I'd like to welcome five-time BMW Championship winner Tiger Woods to the virtual interview room here at the 2020 BMW Championship. Tiger, I'm not sure if you're aware, but you need to play well this week to advance in the FedEx Cup playoffs. Some opening comments from you.
Yeah, I do. I have to play well. I have to earn my way to Eastlake. Haven't done so yet, and need a big week this week in order to advance. If I don't, then I go home. So it's a big week for me. I'm looking forward to getting out there and playing, competing. This golf course is set up more like a U.S. Open than is a regular tour event. But this is the playoffs. It's supposed to be hard. Last week, I think it might have been a little outlier because of the weather. Greens were soft and receptive, and the majority of the field went low, and then DJ went absurdly low. So that won't be the case this week. Pars be at a premium, putting the ball in the fairway and trying to keep the ball in the correct spots. The greens are quick, hard, and firm for now. The weather's supposed to be really hot the next few days, and maybe breaking Friday night. But until then, it's going to be a very, very difficult golf course.
Great, thank you. With that, we'll open up to questions. As a reminder, please type your name in the chat if you do have a question, and remain on mute when you're not asking. First question will go to Doug Ferguson. Doug, if you'll turn your video.
All right, just Dave. Tiger, how much, just with 9 holes yesterday, 17 years since you've been here, how much of the course did you remember? And kind of as an addendum to that, what kind of course do you look forward to playing?
Well, I probably only remember maybe a couple shots from that Open. I went on YouTube and took a look at the golf course and the tournament setup, but it looks completely different. There were a lot more trees. The tees weren't pushed back, 50 yards, 60 yards on some of the holes. It was a very different type of layout. Guys were hitting a lot of irons off the tees and putting the ball in play. It's going to be a little bit that way this week, but we're further back. There are a few holes. I noticed that in some of the conversations I've had with some of the guys, that if you can carry the ball about 315, 320, and this golf course gets really, really opened up. But that depends for me. I can't quite carry it that far. So it'll be about putting the ball in play and playing from there.
The second part of that is what type of course do you really look forward to playing? I'm not talking necessarily this week, just in general.
In general, I've always loved tree-lined fairways that are very simple, straightforward, classic golf courses that it's not bulldozed and created. I think it's just more of just windows that we're playing through. I've always liked those, and I always love links golf. So those are kind of my two favorite type of setups.
Thanks.
Next question will go to Steve DeMeglio. Steve.
Tiger, knowing that you likely have to finish top 4 to advance, does that change in any way your strategy going to the first tee on Thursday?
I have to get the ball in play here and put the ball in the right spots. As I said to Doug, that this golf course is set up more towards an Open than it is anything else. And with the weather, it's supposed to be as hot as it is, today and tomorrow and probably Friday. This rough is only going to get more difficult. The greens are going to be quick and hard, and so we're all going to be playing around the same time. But it's not a golf course in which I feel like you can overpower it with driver everywhere, like we could last week. This is a totally different setup, and as I said, there are a few holes in which if you can carry the ball 320, it's a big advantage.
And the other thing is, Jason Day talked to the Aussie press yesterday about talking to you about how not only to deal with back issues, but how to deal with back issues involving your swing. Can you talk about that relationship that you've been having with Jason lately?
Well, Jason and I've had a great relationship for a very long time, since he's been on tour. And yeah, we've talked about a number of things, and obviously one of the topics we do tend to talk about, because we both have bad backs now, and mine's a little more progressed than his, is trying to deal with it, trying to manage it, and evolution of the swing. That we can't do what we used to do, and how do you evolve that and still be effective? But also recovery from day to day. Recovery techniques have changed over the years, and lifting protocols have changed. So that's that's a big to do with it. But yeah, this swing does evolve. It does change. You can only swing the club in which the body allows you to do it. And you know, I know that firsthand from all my 9 previous procedures that I've had done on my body. So you know, it's just one of those things that as we age, we wear things out.
Thank you.
Our next question will go to Ben Averill, PGAtour.com. Ben.
Thank you. Tiger, he just stole some of my thunder on the Jason Day stuff and asking you about it, but I'll just say, can you envisage a time, or do you remember a time where you wouldn't have essentially given as much advice in that scenario? You've obviously gotten older yourself and gotten along and now are much more helpful, and he's very appreciative of what you've done for him so far. So.
You know, Ben, that's a great question because when I first came on tour, I was so young. I was the only one that that turned pro at 20. There was really no one out here for a number of years. I think that I think pretty much until I was maybe 31 or 30, that I was the youngest one on a Ryder Cup team or President's Cup team for a number of years until I think Charles Howell got on the team. So all those years, I was always the youngest. And so I was always asking questions, and all the guys that now are on the Champions Tour, the guys that I had played with and I grew up with out here on tour. So I was always the one asking the questions. And, you know, as time goes on, there was a little interim, but then I got hurt and I was out of the game for a number of years. And now I'm on the backside where, you know, I'm on the receiving end of a lot of questions because I've been out here long enough. So that's just kind of the evolution of when you're out here for me, I think a little over 20 plus years now. This is a neat sport in which we can cross so many different generations. And you know, I was able to, when I first came out on tour, be able to pick Sevy's brain and Ollie's brain and Raymond's brain on shots and things of that nature. Jack, Arnold, Gary, and I was always the one asking the questions, and now I've been out here and seen different generations go, you know, move on, and as I said, now I'm on the receiving end.
Do we expect too much now out of youngsters, given how much success the young guys are having?
What do you mean?
Well, I guess the wider public now sort of expects if you haven't won on tour by 25, which was unheard of until you came along, then they're not there yet. You know, they might not have done enough. But of course, people can come along between 25 and 30, even 30 before they make their mark.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that because of technology, and because of either YouTube or all the different technical devices that we can use to enhance our practices and our game, that kids are better players at an earlier age. Granted, they don't know the golf courses as well, but now with technology on the greens, with all of our charts and yardage books and greens books, basically you can come out here blind and not have to learn the ropes and come out here and win earlier. And so I think that just the average age of a winner is going to get younger and younger than it has when I first came out, and certainly has evolved into that.
Thanks, mate.
Yep.
All right, next question, Michael Bamberger, golf.com. Michael.
Thank you, Amanda. Tiger, you've been coaching yourself for about 3 years now, and in that same period, it looks like Charlie's gotten really into golf. And I wonder, as you play with Charlie, are there things that you can apply teaching golf to Charlie that you can apply to your own game?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that we do, and we just have fun. You know, the whole idea of us going out there and playing, and for him to just enjoy the game of golf. And you know, that's one of the things that I was lucky enough to have had with my dad, is that we went out there and we played and we practiced, and we just had an incredible time together. And I just wanted Charlie just to enjoy it.
Is he interlocking like you do?
Yes, he does.
Thank you.
All right, next question, we'll go to Ewan Murray, The Guardian. Ewan.
Thanks, Amanda. Hello, Tiger. You've spoken a lot recently about the new normal and adjusting to the new normal in the golf course. I wanted to ask you specifically about the Masters. Do you think they've made the right decision continuing with the tournament, obviously in these strange times? And specifically there, how will the lack of galleries affect you? Because, I mean, you and the crowds there have been, you know, pretty strongly linked for the last 20 plus years.
Yeah, as far as them making the decision to play and have the event with no fans. That's what we're doing right now with the tour, with our restart. And so that's just a continuation of what we had, and we've been very fortunate enough have had no real big incidences and outbreaks out here on tour, and we've had guys have gone into isolation and have quarantined themselves and got back out here effectively. So there's no reason why we can't have the Masters now. It's going to be very different without 40,000 people there. That's one of the things that we've noticed out here on tour already is that the experience of having to deal with the movement of the crowds and the noise, that's going to be, and the roars that are going to go up from week in, week out, that's changed. And it's guys that I think are what we talked about, the guys that are making more birdies because of it. They don't have to deal with the amount of distractions. And Augusta will be very, very different. When I first went there and had a chance to play in the 95 and see it with no fans, it was eye-opening to how much room there is. When you put 40,000 people on such a small piece of property, it gets, I know there's no rough, but it gets confined. But this will be very different, and this will be a fun Masters, and I'm looking forward to defending.
Will it affect your defence at all, the lack of the galleries, the lack of that vibe and atmosphere that you're so used to? Or should it not make any difference to what you do inside the rope?
No, it's going to make a big difference to all of us. It has out here week in and week out. You just don't have the same type of energy and, as I said, the distractions too as well. And there at Augusta National, you just have all those roars that would go up of, somebody did something somewhere, and then if you have the understanding of the pairings, you know who that would probably be. You're not going to have any of that now. So scoreboard watching and trying to figure out what's going on. There aren't a whole lot of big leaderboards out there, and so that will be very different.
Thank you.
As a reminder to media on the line, please turn your video off if you're not asking a question. Next question will go to Bob Herrig. Bob.
All right. Hey, Tiger. Good morning. Thank you. Just curious, your own game, any of the struggles that you've had so far in these 3 tournaments you've played, have you found you've just had difficulty bringing it to the course, or have some of these issues been apparent in your practice?
A little bit of both. I think that trying to get used to playing, competing again. That's been one of the things that I've been a little bit rusty in that regard. But also trying to. One of the reasons why I delayed it and not coming back and playing earlier is that we just didn't know that how the protocol is going to be, and is our sport going to be safe enough to come out here, or we're all going to get sick. And so that. And in my mind I've played enough tournaments to try to get an understanding and feel for what's going on. Hopefully I can get it going this week and get myself into the Tour Championship next week. A lot of great memories there, and have to play well this week.
Just one quick thing. What do you make of what Phil's doing this week on the Champions Tour?
Playing unbelievable golf. That he said he's been close to playing well. I mean, obviously he played well at Memphis. I think that he was already one of the longer hitters out here, and now he goes to where he's going to pick up a huge advantage off the tee. But you have to take advantage of that opportunity, off the tee, and his wedge game's off the charts, as we all know, and you give him a wedge in there, he's going to put it inside of 10, 15 feet, each and every time. You hold those, you get momentum, and keeps it going. There's no reason why he can't win, every minute he plays out there. He's got such a big advantage over the rest of the field just with sheer length.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, we've got time for just 2 more questions. So next we're going to go to Daniel Rappaport, Golf Digest. Dan.
Yeah, Tiger, it seems like everyone else kind of judges your career in terms of victories, but for you personally, how important is it to make the Tour Championship every year?
Well, to be part of the Tour Championship was being a part of the top 30 guys, and that they've been the most consistent players throughout the entire year. That has certainly evolved with the FedEx Cup, and You can get hot late and get yourself to the Tour Championship. They've tried to adjust the system over the number of years, and I think they've got it right. But if you look at the players from 1 to 30, they're the most consistent players throughout the entire year. Now, granted, some players have had more success towards the late part of the year, but the whole idea is in order to get to Eastlake, you got to be consistent, and in order to win the Tour Championship and win the FedEx Cup, it's about getting hot at the right time and right at the very end, just like every other sport.
And I know it's 6 years away, but do you see a future in which you would play the Champions Tour like Phil?
Well, there was a time in which I didn't think I would play out here again. So I'm just enjoying what I have here, and that's 6 years away, and that's a long time. So I've only been back for a few years, so looking forward to just playing out here and being part of the guys out here.
All right, for our final question, we're going to go to Teddy Greenstein, Chicago Tribune. Teddy.
Good morning, Tiger. Hope you can see me and
Yep.
hear me. In 03, the Open certainly got some criticism. I don't know if so much from players, but certainly from the media that the course didn't do all that great. Is there any sense that Olympia is a much stronger place than it was way back when?
No, it did great. It held up great. Now, there were a couple hot rounds. I think Jim and BJ both shot 63, but you get calm conditions, the right setup, and you get the right guys. Of course, it's going to go low, but there are only a handful of guys that end up under par anyway. So it was a U.S. Open. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be tough. It just had one day where a couple players went nuts. Okay, so what? But over the course of the entire week, the course panned out. It played hard. It played difficult, and the scores evened out. I think this year the rough is up again. It's in 6-7 inches in spots, and it's gnarly. And if we happen to get the weather we're supposed to get Friday night, and then if it gets wet, you better hit the ball in the fairway. But the greens right now are getting baked out. I mean, it's supposed to be, as you know, mid-90s the next couple of days. So they're hand watering the greens, trying to keep them alive and keeping it right on that edge, right where it should be.
Thanks.
You got it.
All right, Tiger, thank you for your time today. Best of luck this week.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda.